Hello, bosses. Hello, bosses. So I'm excited because today we're going to talk about how to master your credit score so you can secure your first property. Now, here's the thing. I first want to say this. You don't have to have a great credit score to get a property. All right. I just want to lay that out. But if you want the best opportunities, if you want the best rates, if you want the opportunity to have access to a plethora of financial options, then your credit score, you definitely want to master it. So let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a story right quick. This is why the power of knowing your score and having good credit is going to matter. So in 2008, maybe 2009, my husband and I, we went to go and try to purchase our first house, right? We couldn't even qualify for a foreclosed mobile home. I'm telling y'all, could not get it because of our credit score, right? Credit score was low. That was the main factor. So over the years, it took us about 1.5, 2 years to get our credit score up to where we was finally able to purchase our first home. And if we knew what we knew then, we definitely would have been able to make that transition very quickly. But we didn't really know the power of credit score. Now, y'all, I know y'all been hearing a lot of people going around saying get your credit repaired. You can get access to business funding. This is very true. But here's the thing I want you to understand is that your credit score is like your financial character, right? And if you join the CPS workshop, we're going to talk about that more tomorrow and really go in depth. But I want you to understand that your credit score is how financial companies are able to assess whether you're a risk or not. So I want you to understand that your credit score means financial opportunities. I'm telling you, I don't want you to miss out because when you have a strong credit score, doors open. When I tell you better rates, everything, larger loans, okay? The more bigger you want a loan, the better they want your score to be. So for instance, like I just told you, me and my husband, we couldn't even qualify for a mobile home. That mobile home, we had to have a minimum of a 620 credit score. That's residential. Now on the investment side, man, you try to walk over here with a 620, you're going to have to be going to hard money lenders. You're going to have higher interest rates. You're going to have all these things that are going to hinder you from making as much money, all because of your credit score. So why would you allow that to affect you from really holding you back from being able to flourish in terms of your financial opportunities? Because we want to be able to make money, right? But the most important thing is leveraging other people's money so you can make more money. But you have to show them that you're financially responsible and your score shows them that. Now, I get it. Things happen. Life happens, right? It happens. It's okay. You can be able to still bring that score up and to still be able to invest in real estate. So like I said, that don't necessarily mean that stops you, but it will hinder you from getting the best rates, which in turn messes up your profit. So, like I said, when you're looking to get your first property, right, and you're checking your scores and you like, okay, I'm good, I might can do this. Well, honey, okay, on the commercial side, I'm gonna tell y'all that credit score, it plays a role, right? It don't play a role with some lenders, but the majority it does. And so, if that's the case, one of the first things you want to that can hinder you from getting your first property is your score. And so if you think about it, if you have a low credit score, you're blocking yourself, right? And so there can be some things that's on your credit that can really be cleared up to help your score jump up in 20, 30 points easily. But I want you to understand, like, man, when you have a low credit score, at a certain point, so let's just say you have a 620, right? If you're buying a house for yourself, you can qualify for FHA, conventional, USDA. You can qualify for many programs. But when you're like a 620 and you're trying to buy your first investment property, it's going to be very hard to get that financing from a traditional lender because your score is too low. So I want you to know, like, getting your score up is going to be beneficial, and you can still be able to secure your first property, even with a low credit score. You're just going to have to use your own money to do that. But we don't want to do that, right? We want to be able to put ourselves in position, because real estate investing is like a business. Excuse me, y'all. I'm pulling my right. Real estate investing is like a business. And I want you to look at it in that way, because it's going to generate your income. It's something that you got to manage. It's semi-passive. And when I say semi-passive, it means that you can do it one time and it continuously to pay you, but you may have to still do repairs over time, things like that. But I promise you, the time you spend on maintenance, keeping tenants, on all of that is minuscule to the amount of money that you can make from real estate. Okay. So I want you to also understand, like, I know I dive right in because I want you to understand, really knowing how to play the game is what matters here. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. Okay. I don't believe in doing all that because it can come and bite you in your butt. But I'm talking about really taking the time to understand where you are right now financially with your scores. Because if you know where you are, you can maneuver a little better, right? And so when you see that you're in this place where your score is affecting you from being able to get your first property, then that's someplace that you want to start. But one of the things I always would tell anybody, what really made us to be able to get our score up, we had to financially make sure we were in a place that can allow for us to grow that score, our credit score, and to be able to put ourselves in position. So it's not just, hey, let me go out here and get some cars. Let me, finagle the system to get this score up. You, my friend, have to know financial management, like basic budgeting, basic finances. You got to know, look, when it comes down to every day, write down exactly how much you're spending. I want you to do that. Like, y'all hit me up privately, right? Hit me up privately. And I want you to track for at least a week. I say 30 days, at least a week. I want you to track your finances. And I want you to see how much money you really got coming in and going out. And I promise you that you can be able to structure your finances in a way that still allows for you to really get your score up. So let's talk about it. The reason why your scores is probably low or not there. There's a few things. Over the years, I promise y'all, over the years, I'm going to tell y'all, I've seen all type of credit scores, all type. I've worked with individuals that make six figures, high net worth income individuals, and they have horrible scores. They're trying to get out of their financial situation. So don't feel like where you are, other people haven't been there. Like I said, I've worked with high net worth individuals that have had horrible scores. Okay. Horrible. But they had to put a financial plan in place so that they can get a better score. But most importantly, it was just how they was managing their money. Like, when life situations happen, I get it. We got to make things happen. So when that happens, whenever you already got it set up, and you're financially managing that money, now you're able to sit down and say, okay, I can be able to move this here, that here, do this, do that. All right. So let me give you some examples. First example, let's start with high net worth people. All right. High net worth. Let's say you got six-figure income plus, let's say you got some disposable income, right? You live in a high life, but you got high debt. So you want to be looking at your finances. How are you managing your day-to-day money? Are you going out spending money every day, eating out? Like, these are things that could hinder you from hitting your financial goals, but it also can allow for you to realize, by writing it down, tracking it, it allowed for you to realize, like, oh, wow, I really could have saved this money, right? I really could have just saved this money, but I was hungry and I just spent $30 on a meal when I could have just went home and had me some food. I could have waited. So sometimes our circumstances is just what we want right then and there. And that can stop you from being able to really put the money where you want to when it comes to building your credit score back up. Okay. So high net worth, high income people, really look at your finances. If you know you have income, disposable income of at least 500 or even $100 per month or $200 per month, then really, really assess your finances, because I promise you, you got even more than that in your finances that you can be able to really get to that. Now, I'm not going to break down how to fix your score. Join the CPS workshop. That's where we talk about it this Thursday. Okay. Just join there. We go all in depth on that. Now, let's say you are financially okay, right? You can still do some things with your credit. You can still, do some little improvements, and it. But let's say you may have only an extra 25 to 150, maybe 250, right? That you have extra. For those individuals, you really want to look at your financial management, because knowing where you're spending your money and allocating it is going to determine your budget, right? So you can be able, y'all, when I tell you, you can budget $500. I've been at a point in my life where I was only making $500 to $750 per month. During that time, I was still able to take trips. I went to Miami for a whole weekend, had the cash, had savings, paid bills, all of that, right? Now, granted, if you know you need more money, then we need to find you some other opportunities to make you some more money. But I'm just saying, like, even on a tight budget, you can be able to craft the life that you want while still working on the things that you want to get done. But you're going to be a little bit tight with yours, right? You're going to be a little bit more tight in terms of the things that you want to do. This is where you get strategic. You got to be strategic with your approach. Like, you don't want to just go out here and just be plucking up cards to be plucking them up because that's the play, right? We ain't doing it. This ain't about the play, right? This is about the promise that God has given you, the promise that has been spoken over you, the things that you got to get done that is going to take you doing things differently. And usually the reason why we get in the situations we're in is because of not only just our situations, but also sometimes our mindset. And just knowing that, okay, the way I got to move got to be a little different. Anytime that you want to level up and go to another level, you got to do things differently. Hence, hello, boo. In the middle of the day, I am going live, whether who's on here or not. I am going live, right? Because I am on a new level. You are on a new level. And you got to understand that you got to move differently than you did before. Conversations got to be different. What you feed yourself, right? Mentally has to be different. You, my friend, are different. So there's things that you got to do to put yourself in the place you need to be, in that position, so you can secure your first property, so you can create that passive income. But that's going to take you having to make shifts. And usually that credit is that way of showing you how you can make that shift. So in the workshop, we go over all of that, like, credit part. So I'm not going to dive in deep. We're not doing that here. I just want to talk to you because I want you to realize that, yes, you can buy a property without using your credit. We have done it. We just bought a property. Y'all know, if you haven't seen it, we've been showing it. We bought a property a few months ago. I think in April, May, we bought a property. We have built ourselves to be able to have business funding, right? So this particular property we bought seller financing. And what that means is that we didn't go to a lender or a traditional bank or anything to acquire this money, right? To acquire this property, excuse me. So we bought it with other people's money. So that it wasn't out of our pocket. But when your finances, right, you're getting that together, but when your score, excuse me, is not where it need to be, then you're dependent on cash out of your own pocket. And the way that we're going to build wealth is not using your own money. Yeah, it may start with you using your money to acquire certain things to get that thing, but ultimately your score plays a big part in that. So let me tell y'all right here. All right, so we bought the house, seller financing, right? Now we could have purchased. The reason why we did seller financing because we wanted to buy it quick. We wanted to buy it quick, right? We want to buy it quick before anybody else got it. We found it on Facebook. Okay, so we use other people financing. We use business funding to renovate the property, right? And now we have a few people before we even put it on the market, seen the house, are interested in the house before it even goes on the market. Now, if we were using our own money, boy, times will be hard, right? Very hard if you were using your own money. Why? Because here's the thing. If you use your own money, let's say you have 50,000 in your bank account and you used your own money. Well, let's say that deal went sour. Your 50,000 is gone. Now, let's say you had the score you needed and you got some funding. And you got this deal using your funding and the deal went wrong. Well, guess what? You still got your 50 in the bank and now you may be just making payments on that funding, right? But ultimately with real estate, if it don't work out, you can always put it back on the market. You might have a loss, you might not. But with real estate, you can either put somebody in that property or sell it. That's it. But if you're using your own money, that 50,000 you use of your own money is gone. Gone. Now, does that sound like a smart decision? No. So whenever you are willing to put in and do the work to get your score where you need it to be, now you are realizing that you have the opportunity to go and use other people's money. Because at the end of the day, when you're buying an asset, right, you're buying this asset for the specific purpose to earn more money. That's why you're buying it. So if that's the case, why would you not put yourself in position, right, to have what you need without you sacrificing what you have in your household? Have what you need so that you can be able to get what you want. That's the beauty of using your credit score. Not to go shop and do Bree, come get the phone. Not to shop and I'm doing all these things to Bree. Come get so you got to understand that it's a strategic move. I know people be flexing all over social media about them buying these different things. But at the end of the day, you can be smart with what you have and be very strategic. And so this is why financial management is hands down the first thing you better know. Better know. Okay? You better know it. Because that's going to allow for you to get a better score. I promise you. So let's say your credit score is trash. I mean, under 600. I've been there. I've been at a 450 before. Okay. I was like, look, right now I'm an entrepreneur. I'm using my credit how I need to, blah, blah, blah. I was all wrong. Wrong. I did not really understand or master what it means to have a good credit score. I was so wrong. So now if you're in the 450, 500, you definitely then did some things, right? So I'm not blaming you. What has happened has happened. We pushing past that now. So let's say you got trash credit score. Trash. So there are some hard money lenders out here that don't care about your score. But I promise you, you're going to pay almost the same amount you will pay on a credit card, right? So y'all know credit card interest rates are like 29%. Just think, a lender, because of your score, right? And because you don't want to use it, they're going to give you 20, 18, 15, right? Now, also that kind of plays into experience, but that's another day, right? That's another day. So just think about it. If your score is trash, I'm talking about like fives, okay? I want you to assess what happened. Don't do that no more. Because I want you to think about every card you have can now, these are little money soldiers, right? So you got cashback cards. I hope you got cashback credit cards. I hope so. Even if it's personal. Have some cashback, some reward cards. Don't go out there and apply now. Hit me up. If you really thinking about investing and you want to use that, like if that's the first thing you're going to do, don't just go out there blindly start applying for stuff. Please don't do that. But listen, so you trash, right? It's trash, not you. Sorry, your score. You want, once you are really assessing your score, I want you to really realize, like, okay, this is what happened. Don't tie your feelings to it. Don't tie who you are to it. What happened, happened. All right, we passed that. You're here now. What happened, happened. You can pick yourself out. I went from a 450 to a 650 in under a year to a 700 in months. It can happen. All right. So you got it when you're that deep, right? The main thing you want to be focused on is how am I going to allow myself to build credit, but also clear it, right? And clean it. Because it's almost like you're doing it simultaneously. Because when it comes to improving your score, it ain't just let me pay my cards off, right? You got to be building, stacking, and clearing. And you want to work with somebody that understands your goals so that you can do both of those. So when you have low scores, like I said, you still get funding. But why are you using your own money? No, I don't want you using your own money. I want you to put yourself in position to have other people's money, which is the banks or investors, right? To be able to accomplish your goal, which is getting that first or that next investment property. But score does play a role in that often. So let's say so with your score being where it's at, really assess like what did you do in the past. Now, if y'all ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow, he talk about doodads, right? Doodads is basically where you're spending money on things that don't bring a return to you. Let's not do that right now. Let's not do that. Like instant gratification, we can't be doing that right now. We grown ups. We know better. We know better. Okay. So because we know better, we got to be strategic in how we move. And so when you're looking to get that first property and you're not using your own money, the first thing they're going to look at is your credit score. That's the first thing they're going to look at. Whether you go SBA, right? SBA, let's talk about that. They're willing to give you a lot of money. I'm talking about $250,000 plus. You can get that easy, but you got to have a score. And so this is only one of the components that play into that. Okay. So if y'all got any questions, drop them in the chat. I would love to speak with you. If you got any questions about credit or anything, drop them in the chat. Good morning, Tabitha. Hello, Crystal. And so I just want y'all to understand that when we realize, yes, boo, stay tuned in, honey, because we're going to make some moves, boo. Hi, Crystal. Yes. So Crystal's one of my clients of many things. So Crystal, I hope you don't mind. I'm about to use you as an example. So Crystal is doing some things, right? Building her income assets. And one of the things that we had to look at was score. First thing, hands down, we had to look at that. That was main thing. So that score allow us to not only know what lender we can do, but even if we could even do anything. Because if you have a low score, you don't have many options. I want you to be able to buy multifamily units. I want you to be able to buy apartment complexes. I want you to be able to build subdivisions, right? I want you to be able to do these things. Can you get him? What's wrong, Buddha? Bree, just give him the phone. So, kids, So I want you to understand that in order to get this bulk of money, I'm not saying you have to get your score right, because you can be a gift, you can have the gift of gab and actually go out and acquire money from other people in terms of investors, things like that. But by you doing that, you can still grow your portfolio. But oftentimes we ain't got enough time for that, right? We working, we got kids, we got life responsibility. So being able to raise money is not easy for everybody. Now there is a way that you can do it with low score, raise the money, and you don't have to worry about that. But if that's not you, you're not looking to do that, and you like, hey, Tashawn, I just need to learn this high income skill. So whenever I need a property and make some money, I can go get one. That's the case, you want to work on your score. And you want that anyways, because that's what's going to allow for you to get business funding. That's what's going to allow for you to be able to get these big multi-million-dollar properties. That's what's going to allow for you to be able to invest over and over in your business without using your own money. So just think about it. Even if you're a business owner, let's say like right now we got ads running, right? So let's say you got ads running and you spending $1,000 a month on ads, and that is coming from your business, right? And let's say your business may not be generating $1,000 yet. So if you're spending $1,000 of your own money that you worked hard for, right? Once it's gone, remember, right? And you got no sales or leads, what you gonna feel like? You gonna be like, I don't like business. I don't want to do business no more. This ain't working. I don't like this. But if you have business funding, the purpose of business funding is to fund your business to make money. Now you putting yourself in position to be able to use that funding, right? Because now you got your score up. You're using that funding. You just spent $1,000, but let's say 0% interest. Usually with business cards, you pay $100. Your monthly payment is $100. You're like, okay, I can do that. And then next month come, you spend another $1,000. But now you made sales. Now you're able to chunk off on that. And now you're able to find your rhythm, your flow. Okay, now the money's coming in and you pay all of that off. And the great thing about business funding, I promise y'all, business credit cards, once you pay them things off, they want you to use them up for income generating purposes. They want you to skyrocket and then pay them off. Because guess what? Then they're going to come back and raise that limit up. Oh, they spent a lot. They need more money. That's the beauty of business funding. But we got to get you to that side. And the only way to get you to that side, even in mortgages, you want your property under your business name, but guess what? It's still a person tied to that business. And they look at that. Especially now, they have tightened up. Now, during COVID, when I tell you, baby, everybody's getting funding. You get money, you get money, you get money. They was handing out money left and right. And people was not being strategic with the type of loans that they're getting. So case in point, 3,000, I think in 2019, 3,000 investors purchased floating debt. I'm about to tell y'all what floating debt is. Just hear me out. Purchase floating debt, right? So when they did that, now payments are due or payments are higher. And the liquidity or their profit isn't necessarily there. And this is like 2/3. So it ain't about just having the score. Financially, you got to know how money works. Because if you don't know how money works and how that plays into you being able to structure your life to get the credit score up and to use your money so that you can make more money, then you're going to be in a bind. Now you're going to be paying personal and business out your own money. So that's why at the end of the day, mastering your credit score is going to take you mastering yourself, your mindset, your money. Because if you can't master that, everything else can fall apart. So we don't want that to fall apart just because of simple budgeting. I promise y'all, Like every day I write down my numbers. I look at my numbers. I do my expenses. I do my income, what's coming up, what's going down, what is coming in, what is going out, what can I be able to look at and save some money on, or call up and say, hey, you need to cut this bill down, whatever I can. And I'm going to do that till the day I die, no matter how much money I got. Why? Because I know that I want my little soldiers, my money soldiers, working for me. So I'm going to put all of them in position where they need to be. And y'all need to go to work. That's how you want. So mastering your credit score is going to be key to opening a lot of things for you. A lot of things. Even if you want to purchase your first home. Now, let me tell you, I have lenders that will do loans, right? This is residential, y'all, right quick. I just want to say this. I have lenders that can do loans. This is not a commitment to lend. Let me make that disclosure out here. I am a mortgage broker. My license number is 132471. I am not, this is not a commitment to lend. Throw that out there. So, but I want you to understand that we have lenders that can go down to a 500 credit score. But there are compensating factors that they look at. So they're going to look at, even though your score is low, do you have money in your savings? Do you have, because they understand life happens, right? But there's other things you got to do to back it up. They want to see, do you have more money? Because even I'm taking this big risk on you. Excuse me. I'm taking this big risk on you. And I got to make sure you're going to pay this loan back. And so that's the thing that they're going to look at. So yes, you can get a home for that. But when it comes to your investment property, they want at least a 660. There's some lenders that will go down to a 640. But for the most part, they want a high score. The higher your score, the better you get. For instance, if you're in the 700s, this is not a commitment to lend. Just give me all the info. There's a lender that we're partnered with, and when you're in the 700s, you can, and let's say you want to buy rental property, right? You can get 8-9% interest only rate. 8-9%. So just imagine, and that's in the 700s, right? So knowing that, that's going to save you money, which allows for you to make more profit. It allows for you to make more profit. So think about it. Let me pull up a mortgage calculator. Let's put it in, let's put some eyes to this, right? Okay, I'm bring up a mortgage calculator, and I'm also going to bring up a interest only mortgage interest only calculator. All right, so we're going to do these numbers, y'all. We're going to do this number. All right, so I'm going to show you. We're going to include tax and insurance. We're going to do 250,000, right? Because it don't take much to build your portfolio. Okay, now let me switch it over so I can show you on my screen right quick. Let me see.